Happy Halloween!
Yeah.
Welcome back. As always, I'm your favorite bearded hero, and here with my sidekick, I got this man.
Hello.
Chandler. And we are here at Old Town, in Old Town Burleson, at Geek Out, like we always are. Well, we usually are.
For the most part.
For the most part. Yeah. We were in Dallas for a week. We were in
Dallas and then Fort Worth.
So unfortunately, we put this big ConstanTINE show on ConstanTINE show.
Constantine, yeah.
Had to get pushed back. October's been a crazy month for us.
It has.
I got the vid. And then we did a big convention, Dallas Fan Fest, and then we did Cowtown Comic Con. So
we had birthdays both this week.
Both of us, our birthdays were this past week. So we've had a heck of an October, but we are back. We are
for literally the last day. So this is it.
Last day. Yeah. So so we're back for the new DC books tonight and our ConstanTINE discussion. Hey, Monica, welcome to the party.
Hello.
We're going to talk about some cool occult stuff.
Yeah.
Because ConstanTINE.
They delve deep into that stuff.
They do, man.
Yeah, they do good work on that.
Some really cool stuff that I didn't know about ConstanTINE, but is actually pretty wild. Thank you very much, Monica. Yep, my 40th birthday was last Wednesday, and his 12th birthday was Saturday.
My 26th birthday was on Saturday.
And
it was okay.
We both worked for our birthdays. That was our gift.
We did that. Not the best, but it's fine.
It's fine. I was off. We were both at least off the day after our birthdays, so we could have adult beverages.
I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't? Okay.
I was not.
See, I would have made sure that you had off that day.
I had to open.
All you had to do was say, "Hey."
Anyway, I forgot because of conventions.
It's called. Yeah, the conventions really just kind of threw everything off.
Kind of boned us.
Yeah.
Not gently or nice either. Like rough.
We had lots of fun. Now we had lots of fun with the conventions.
We had great.
Did some great networking. Met some great people.
Met some comic artists, some comic creators. Like just. Just good stuff all around.
Reconnected with a couple of comic creators, which tomorrow one of them is going to be joining me on the good old StreamYard, and we're going to have a conversation about his new books.
He does some good stuff, actually.
He does. I really like his stories.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But and we'll give you some more details about that. Also, before we get into the comics, and then Mr. ConstanTINE, tomorrow. You get to use the rat to help you talk.
I prefer a rat.
Because you're a rat. Snitches.
I'm not a rat. It just reminds me of Fantastic Mr. Fox a little bit. That liquid gold.
That movie is more terrifying than any horror
movie. That movie's really good.
That movie is nightmare fuel.
It's really good.
Nightmare fuel.
They're wiping away the tears from a little fox's fur. It's beautiful. It's really nice.
So...
It's a good one.
But starting tomorrow, if you haven't been in the store lately, we have a relatively new team member, the delightful Emery. Tuesday Night Treasures is going to turn into the Charles and Emery Show.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about horror movies primarily. Because we're both movie nerds, and if we're gonna geek out about something, let's just geek out about it all
around.
Talk
about some horror comics.
We're also gonna talk about some horror comics, some horror movies.
Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing. We will talk about Swamp Thing.
We're gonna talk about it today for sure.
We had a blast hanging out with you also, Monica.
Just whenever y'all do an episode about the Thing, I want to be in that because
you can. So
I love the Thing.
That spun out of Emery wanting to join us, and I was like, we've got too much to talk about, so let's just have another show. So we're just going to do multiple shows. So
for sure.
Tomorrow, it's a day late because conventions backed a lot of our stuff up. But
sorry about that.
We're going to discuss and go over the history of the much retconned and rebooted Halloween franchise.
Really?
Including Busta Rhymes kicking Michael Myers and everything.
That is fantastic. I will not take anything less. That's not a good movie, but that's good.
Yeah,
That is great.
We will thoroughly rag on Busta Rhymes for thinking that he can kick Michael Myers in the face.
He did though, and he
He
did
did.
it really good.
And
he
he
did
probably
really
died.
Good. Well, I mean, it's
Yeah,
Halloween.
we'll even
you know.
talk about Rob Zombie.
No, you won't. Oh,
we will.
Garbage.
Hey man, the first one, we'll get into it.
It's
tomorrow.
garbage.
The first one was a good retelling. The second one is the hottest garbage of hot garbages, and is on like my top 5 worst films ever watched.
You think what you want to think? They're bad. They're bad. They're bad. Rob Zombie should stop making movies, please.
I'm not going to disagree with that, but
He should.
he's had a couple of okays.
Rob Zombie, if you're listening to this, which you're not,
Which he's
but
not.
you're not. But if you are, stop it. Stop what you're doing. It's not okay. You need
Hey,
to quit. What?
I will say, the Monsters movie was better than I expected, though.
That's kind of an exception. Yeah, that's
I
kind of
mean,
an exception.
Rob
It's
Zombie,
pretty
after
good.
making some of the trashiest movies ever made,
Yeah, man.
made a family-friendly Monsters
Why do
movie.
people
It's on
like
Netflix.
House of a Thousand Corpses? I don't understand.
House of a Thousand Corpses wasn't terrible.
But it's not good.
It is an
Good.
homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre that somehow makes you need a shower more than Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
100%. Yeah, it's kind of gross.
And the first 2/3 of it were quality, and the back end was pure trash.
Listen, we're about to talk about Swamp Thing, which
We
is
are.
literally a man who's made of maggots. And House of a Thousand Corpses is still worse than that. It's still way more disgusting.
Yeah, and of course it's worse than it's. I'd say House of a Thousand Corpses is worse than that Swamp Thing TV movie from like 1992.
I disagree, because if you've ever watched a movie, you know how fire effects work, and that man in Swamp Thing is 1,010% on fire. Like he's
Oh no,
he
no,
is
there's
on fire.
there's a complete like story
Yeah.
that the stuntman was accidentally
he was
legitimately
lit
set
up.
He was
He
lit
was like a
up, and it
torch.
just did not. It was not controlled.
It was nuts.
It was
like
crazy.
oh my god, I give mega props to that movie because they set a man
On
so
fire,
on
yeah,
fire.
yeah.
It's insane. It's
But-
so good. I love it.
But okay, so
good
that's a
movie.
discussion for another show because we got to get into some DC Comics and then Mr. Constantine's story.
Yeah, he's got a couple movies. He's got a couple movies.
He does.
Constantine.
All right, so
Oh,
this
yeah,
week
DC books.
it's not a DC week unless you have bunches of Bat books, and
There's
I
a
will tell
lot.
you, this week every book is a Bat book to some degree.
Is it really?
Yes. So first we've got Batman
Oh,
129
that's unfortunate.
by the amazing Chip Zdarsky.
He's
If
doing a
you're
great
not-
job.
If you're not reading this and you've fallen off of Batman, this is a quality book regardless.
It's so
excellent.
good. So
And
good.
we're doing this really cool thing. We're doing some 90s homage covers this month.
Yeah.
And the 90s was nothing but extreme and
Extreme
foil.
and foil embossed. It looks
So
beautiful.
this embossed foil looks like almost like Frank Miller Batman fighting Bane. Like
Well, I
he's
mean-
very Frank Millery shaped.
Nothing says
but-
more 90s Batman than him fighting Bane, honestly.
But yes,
yeah, that's kind of his whole
Bane
thing.
Bane is my favorite Batman villain. So
Is he really?
dude,
Oh, fair enough.
he's very scary in the comics.
Oh, totally.
He's not
totally.
as scary as
Totally.
but
The
no,
I
it's-
Am Bane story with the whole mirroring story, that's great stuff.
But then just
Really
like the
good.
way that he just. Anyway, we could get in. We could have
Bane-
a whole
Bane's
night.
good.
We've already discussed. We could have
Bane
a
is
whole
good.
Nightfall conversation.
It's good stuff. No Man's Land too.
But we're not
it's
going
great.
to.
No.
Next, so we've got another Batman book. This one is Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo.
Yeah.
Trouble has come to Gotham, and the two arch nemesis that have been around for 80 years have to team up.
Can't believe it.
Whatever.
It's only
We'll see what
happened
happens.
So many times.
B cover,
B cover.
very pretty,
Greg Capullo did the B and C cover.
and the C cover is the
And-
Joker cover.
They're both really good.
They're both really good.
They're both so good.
Capullo. It is not a one shot. It is a limited series. Isn't it a limited series?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it's
it's
only gonna be like
three.
three issues.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure it's
yeah,
a three.
3 issues.
Yeah, but it's by Mark Silvestri, who is
Yes, of 90s fame.
yes, very much so, and he's brilliant.
90s fame in general. Also,
did-
that last
but-
new X-Men arc, that's it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good. He drew it.
do,
It's good.
do you want more Bat stuff, but don't want Bat stuff in modern day Gotham? Well, you can go to medieval Gotham
Yeah.
and do Dark Knights of Steel with that is medieval Wonder Woman and Supergirl. So
That book is insanely good.
It is.
Just everything you want from an Elseworlds story. It's got great twists. The characters are done really well. It's not the exact just retellings of them in the medieval times. It's just great.
And also, this
Really
book's
good.
been on hiatus for a little while, so it is
Yeah,
back
about 3 or
on
4
schedule.
months.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm so excited to have it back. Great
So,
book.
do you enjoy being in Gotham City and want to come back to the modern day but don't give two craps about Batman? Then you've got GCPD, The Blue Wall. This is issue...
It's 1.
It is issue 1.
It came out last week.
Whoopsie. I mean, we weren't here last week to tell you
Read
about
this
it.
though. The writer's
but,
really
yeah,
good.
no,
the
it's
writer's
just-
really good. Really good.
But you got Batman saving a kitty cat from looks like a SWAT team. How
'Cause he's the
terrible are you?
best.
How terrible are you of a SWAT team that Batman has to save a kitty cat? Anyway,
True.
so,
'Cause that was one of the ones I want to take home.
so do you want to go back to Do you want to stay in Gotham, but you don't
I
care about
guess.
Batman still? But you want to know
Yes.
what's going on with his arch nemesis? We've got the Joker.
The Joker. He stopped
Number
laughing.
2. Oh, the Man Who Stopped Laughing.
Man
Okay,
Who
so it's
Stopped
not the
Laughing.
main Joker book. It is
This is like
it is a limited series.
At least the 3rd or 4th time he stopped laughing.
Yep.
Yeah. The Tom King one I think was the best one when he stopped laughing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
that was terrifying.
that's kind of a cool cover, right? I mean,
That's
that's
actually
great
a really
art.
good
It's a
cover.
really good cover.
His eyes are different colors as well. When you
Ooh,
look
yeah,
at it.
it is green and red.
Yeah, it's good
But
stuff.
you know what's better than that cover?
A super 90s cover.
A
of
super
it.
90s cover.
Yes.
Gold embossed or green
Good
green embossed foil. Look at that. It's so shiny you can even see the reflection of my phone recording us in this one. So
You could shine your shoes in
you
that
could
thing.
shine your you could polish your shoes.
Good
All right.
stuff.
So, do you want to stick with Batman villains, but that are now anti-heroes and not quite villains,
Yeah.
but and are just really pretty redheads? Because if so, we've got Poison Ivy number 6. Now we're out of the A cover, but we got the B cover, which is very beautiful,
Yeah. It was
and the C cover, which is
the weird one.
weird,
Yeah.
but still very pretty.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah.
So that's all your DC books for this week
Yeah.
that are going on sale. So, like we said, I hope you like Gotham because that's where you live in.
It's so much. It's so much. But Gotham. Did we not have Gotham Year 1 in there?
About that.
Oh, we got that.
Oh.
Gotham Year 1 number 2 is out by Tom King and Phil Hester. And it
Do you
is
want
a
to go back
very
to
good book.
Gotham, but with even better writing?
That's that one.
Gotham City Year 1,
Yes.
issue 2.
It's another Batman book, but it's not even bad. It's about the cops. It's like
Yep.
Gotham Central, but
So we got
the new one.
2 ACAB books. I mean,
Yeah,
okay, fair.
yeah.
Um,
But it's Gotham, so they're not
They're-
terrible. They're doing their best.
they're just sitting back and enjoying their donuts
Yeah.
while the Bat family does their job.
The only bastard is probably Harvey.
But
But we
is-
love Harvey. Harvey's the best.
Harvey has his days.
He's
I mean,
just-
at least he's not crooked.
He's just drunk.
shitty.
He's just drunk and trying his best,
Yeah.
I love him.
So, with the DC books behind us now, make sure that we don't. Okay. Then next, we're going to talk about everybody's favorite cranky occultist.
Just the worst guy ever, honestly.
Mr. John Constantine.
John Constantine. It's great stuff. I love him.
What did he make his debut in?
Swamp Thing by Alan Moore. It was number 37? Yeah, 37.
37. When did it come out?
In 1984.
1985. June of 1985. So the release,
Yeah.
the release issue was
Man,
June
he was
of
putting out
1985.
Watchmen at that time.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
killing it, this guy. Love it.
Mr. John Constantine,
Yes.
British occult detective, inspired by Sting.
Literally, Alan Moore was a big fan of the police, and he decided to make a absolute piece of shit occult detective based on Sting. And somehow, that character became very popular. And even though he's the worst guy ever, people love him and want to keep reading him, including me. I love that guy. He's great.
He's great.
He's the worst dude. He's
So,
a terrible dude. Yeah.
a direct quote from Alan Moore was, he came from really good ideas about serial killers, the Winchester House, and wanting to draw Sting in a story. That's it. Like, he's not even shy about
love
the fact.
it.
Like, it's just like, yep.
Yeah.
Helps that he's hot. Yeah, I mean, fair. He is.
He looks like Sting.
Yeah,
I was like,
he's
yeah, of course
Sting.
he does. Yeah.
So when Constantine talks to Lucifer in the comics, it's just Sting and David Bowie having a conversation.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Uh,
And when he's talking to Swamp Thing, it's Sting talking to a bunch of maggots, which is also pretty good. I think it's better.
maggots.
Bunch of maggots. Yeah. We think they're a person.
So, what's funny is you say how much of a shitbag that Constantine is.
Yeah, he's the worst guy.
Actually, he's not that bad whenever you compare him to some of the other characters in that whole occult.
Sure.
So
Yeah, but he's still a bad dude.
Also, so shortly before Mr. Constantine graced us with his presence in Swamp Thing, there was a team that spun out of Teen Titans called Night Force, and that was an occult team, and that was not a good book.
What a 90s name.
Actually, the 80s.
Oh, I know. I'm sure.
Night
I'm
Force.
Sure. But it's still very 90s.
So Baron Winters seems to be like a lot of people said that like whenever it first came out was like that's just a Baron Winters ripoff. But you're saying Baron Winters was an actual shitbag character. Yeah. So he led Night Force.
Okay.
But he didn't leave his mansion. He just recruited occultists and people with like magical powers, and then sent them out to die and fight demons for him.
It's like that Doom Patrol guy.
Yeah, kind of.
That sucks.
So yeah, he was kind of shitty. But and you know Alan Moore even said that he really loved the Baron Winters character and did actually pull some inspiration from that character for Constantine, but it was not intended as a ripoff, and it really wasn't.
No.
And they did meet each other in Swamp Thing a couple of times. They did.
That's bizarre.
And then in Books of Magic by Neil Gaiman.
I actually do remember that. The Books of Magic book was really, really good. If you guys like Harry Potter, imagine Harry Potter, but then someone ripped off this book and made Harry Potter. That's Books of Magic. Because that's Harry Potter's just a ripoff of multiple things anyway. Well, yeah, but like let's say like 3 years before Harry Potter came out, there was a book about a little boy who wears horn-rimmed glasses and has an owl pet that's a white owl, and he's introduced to a world of magic where turns out he's a chosen one. This happened about 3 years before. It's not good. It's bad. Neil Gaiman has tried to sue multiple times, but guess what? Warner Brothers owns both those things, so he can't. Sucks.
Yeah. It wasn't until many years later that we realized that we can just list the things that good old Harry Potter is just a fabrication. Yeah.
Anyway. Also, Warner Bros. Has done that a couple times. Look into the Invisibles and the Matrix sometime. Yeah. It's not good.
So Constantine is very charismatic and has a wealth of different friends, from nuns to demons to just shitty people. And wonderful, nice people as well.
But they get killed in that.
Whereas Baron Winters is just a dick, and he is very manipulative and doesn't actually try to help anyone but himself.
No. It's Constantine does some good stuff sometimes.
So
when it's in his interests.
So DC was also really fussy about the fact that Constantine looked like Sting, because they were afraid that Sting was going to sue them. Until Sting came out in a Rolling Stone interview, and they asked, "Hey Sting, how do you feel about this?" And Sting was like, "Oh, I bloody love it. I think it's amazing."
Of course he did.
I'm so flattered that
Sting's awesome.
That they made a comic book character out of me.
Yeah.
Sting's
great. That's just a side note. The Police, really good band. They did good stuff.
They're awesome. Yeah. So in 1988, the Hellblazer himself, Mr. John Constantine, got his own comic book.
Hellblazer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was under the Vertigo imprint of DC, and it was Vertigo's longest running book.
Yes, it went for 300 issues, I want to say. Yeah, it went for a really long time. Did you note that part?
I didn't put the number of issues, but yes,
it's like 300.
It's about 300
issues.
It's
a long running book. And also, for the majority, it's all really good.
The majority of it is really quality.
A bunch of different writers came on board, a bunch of different really famous writers. They all kind of put their own stamp on it. And honestly, it's such a consistent book, even though it has 30 different writers on it. And it's really good. Anybody who's never, who likes Constantine, who's never read any of the comics, the original Hellblazer run is incredible, no matter who's writing it. It's great stuff.
Now, during that time, so remember, Constantine premiered in DC proper under Swamp Thing.
He did.
But
under Alan Moore.
Under Alan Moore. And then in 1988, It was Neil Gaiman was right. Wasn't Neil Gaiman the first?
No, it was
he was
actually
like he was about the mid. He was in the 50s.
Well, he only did one issue ever.
only did one
He only
issue?
did one
Wow.
issue, and Dave McKean, who did all the cool Sandman covers, drew the whole issue.
Okay, there we go.
So when it started out, it was Jamie Delano, and he did a great job. He established the character like a really kind of. He basically wrote how Alan Moore wrote the character. After that, it passed off to a few different people, including Garth Ennis of The Boys and Preacher fame, Warren Ellis,
Punisher.
and Punisher. Oh, that Punisher stuff's nuts. Warren Ellis did some, who would go on to do Transmetropolitan and Planetary and a bunch of other really good stuff. Also, what Peter Milligan, like just basically every really good British writer ever wrote Constantine, essentially.
So, with the establishment, with him getting his own book under the Vertigo title, DC had a strict policy that Vertigo could not interact with DC proper.
Yes.
So unless you read Vertigo
They didn't
books,
really hold to it all the time. Yeah.
they had a few moments that they cheated, but they did not
Yeah.
cheat with their most popular Vertigo book at all.
Yeah.
You never saw from once he got his own issue, we never saw him in DC proper again.
No.
Until in 2011, 2010, one of the greatest limited series for DC came out, and that was Blackest Night.
Oh, he was
Blackest
that,
Night,
wasn't he?
no, he
No?
was not.
No?
I just preempted with Blackest Night because one of the worst limited series in DC history, Brightest Day,
Oh, he's
brought John Constantine
He's in
back
that one.
to the DC proper.
Yeah, he's in that one.
Yeah, he's in the shitty one. Not
Well,
the
you
really
know.
great one where all the dead are rising and everything. He's in the
Yeah.
shitty one where they try to convince us the Dead Man
The
was a
one that
good
would-
character.
Hey, Dead Man is a good character. I
the-
love Boston Brand. He's a wonderful man. He does his best.
Dead Man is a great character that is badly written 90% of the time.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Also, they tried to shove a weird Hawkman and Hawkgirl story down our throat.
They're always doing that.
anyway. Yep,
They're
they are.
always doing that. You know, it
Um,
is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go see new Hawkman minus Hawkgirl in in Black Adam the movie starring The Rock.
See, Carter and not Shaira. Makes no sense. What the hell is that?
I don't know. It's
It's
Halloween.
Halloween and our lights are
Who knows?
flickering, guys.
Chandler,
What?
how does Black Adam go to the bathroom?
He has to Shazam real quick first and then go to the bathroom.
No, he Dwayne's as Johnson.
That's terrible.
That is terrible. You're
That's
welcome.
terrible.
All
He
right.
Shazams first, and then he pees like a regular human, and then he Shazams again, and then he's Black Adam again. That's the real answer.
No, he just Dwayne's as Johnson.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dwayne Johnson, the XFL is back. Arlington Renegades starts
Oh,
starts in
God.
February. Anyway, I'm
It does
sorry.
indeed.
I'm a sports guy. I'm excited that I get to keep my blue Renegades jersey because they just gave us our name and our colors today. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
So the
Feels
custom
good.
the custom jersey that I ordered during the last time we had the XFL that came in 2 weeks after the XFL folded, I actually get to wear now.
It happens.
It does.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Imagine-
side note. But no, so he returned in Brightest Day. Brightest Day sucked, but they gave him back to us in where he went and found Swamp Thing, and Swamp Thing came back to DC proper also. And
It was always so weird though that like he didn't tie in because the Swamp Thing book in Vertigo absolutely tied into the DC universe like all the time, all the time. Phantom Strange is in that. Etrigan the Demon's in that. Alan Moore being a weird man in a crystal cave is in that. It's great stuff. It's a really good run.
but at the end of Brightest Day, we did get Justice League Dark, and he was a founding member of Justice League Dark.
Yes. And
So-
I think Peter Milligan did the initial run, and
Yep.
then Jeff Lemire did the one after that, and that was so good. It was so great. Really, really good stuff.
So, So now he's back in DC proper. He's had some Vertigo, and then Vertigo is now Black Label, but it also can interact with DC proper, but doesn't interact with DC proper.
Vertigo's gone for the most part.
Yes, unfortunately.
They just have R-rated DC books now.
Yep.
Called Black Label.
Called Black Label, which is just
And
Vertigo.
I hate that.
Yep. No, it was nice having the
Yeah.
separate, but
Oh.
it was
Yeah.
but it was pretty cool. So
Bring Vertigo back, DC, if you're
Yeah.
listening, which you're not.
Which you're not,
But
but-
please bring Vertigo back. Please, for the love of God, bring Vertigo back.
now, here's a thing that you may not know: that Mr. John Constantine is actually a LGBTQ icon.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he's
Um,
bisexual. I believe?
He is bisexual.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
established back in 1992.
Yeah.
And for anybody who is my age or older, they remember in 1992 that was not normal or appropriate or encouraged in normal like it was just very
Yeah,
frowned upon.
very odd,
Especially it
yeah.
was very odd. It was very different. Luckily, we've moved past those times where people had such a crazy stigma about that stuff. I mean, half of the DC universe is. I mean, all of the Bat family, but Bruce is LGBTQ at this point.
Are they
But-
really?
Yeah, think about it.
I don't think Dick is.
No, he is.
Really?
Pretty sure he is.
What?
Yeah.
Nice. Good on
Well, yeah.
him.
So, so now
As
that
the
it's
Harley Quinn show says, he's got
bisexuality,
the
it
best
still
ass.
does get a lot of stigma, Chris. But in the early '90s, it was a much bigger stigma. So the fact that DC even let them print it like that is very surprising and very positive for the LGBTQ.
Yeah. Comics have always been progressive.
Comics has everybody who tells us that
Yeah.
comics need to get out of the politics and comics need to stop being so
Yeah.
progressive and stuff. It's like, have you ever read a comic?
Right. Mystique has been gay since the late 80s, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I mean,
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, it just progressiveness across the boards with all. I mean, Superman used to beat up the Klan.
He did used to beat up the Klan, and
Captain
he
America,
still beats up the
he
Klan
still
now.
does. Captain
Mystique
America
was
punched
gay.
Nazis.
Cat punch Nazis.
Magneto and Charles Xavier just straight up.
Malcolm and Martin.
Malcolm. Yeah.
You can't even blame Magneto for what he does.
Yeah, not really.
He murders everybody, and you're
He
totally
does,
okay
and
with it.
like, yeah, his reasonings are solid.
Yeah.
So like anybody who is like,
Yeah.
why are comics so progressive? Hate to break it to you, they always have been.
They also did invent fridging, so you know it is what it is. But take the bitter with the better, you know.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So, so that's something. Guess who the wildest ex of Constantine is?
Satan?
No,
That's a real one.
That is a real one. But there's one even better.
Who?
King Shark.
Oh, I know that one. Yeah. That's from that movie. yeah.
But it is established as canon.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. King Shark. Yeah, Chris had it. Yeah. King Shark is one of Constantine. So he doesn't even care if it's men or women. He'll also
Not really,
say hi to demons and apparently sea animals.
Also, he's like mega drunk, like all the time. So you know, he didn't care about much. Honestly,
the fact
yeah.
that he doesn't have massive amounts of lung cancer.
Well,
Now
he did that one
he
time.
did, yes,
he
he
did.
did.
Garth Ennis
Yeah,
wrote a
yes.
story about him getting cancer, and basically every demon wanted to get him because he sold his soul like dozens
20.
of times.
Yeah.
Because he sucks. He's a bad guy. He's a bad guy.
Yeah. But one of the weird things that he did do until Rebirth,
Yeah.
he aged in real time. Through his
Did he?
entire Vertigo run, he aged in real time.
Nuts.
Constantine's birthday is May 10th, 1953. And until they brought him back into DC
Yeah.
proper with it, not Rebirth, New 52,
Yeah, sure.
he still was old. And he just gained
What?
age. Yes.
That's bizarre.
Which I wouldn't be surprised if Black Label still makes him aging proper,
That's nuts.
whereas
Well,
mainline
you know,
DC, he's young.
Future Constantine's a big deal in Constantine comics, like the one that's
Yeah.
like 20 years or so ahead. So that really surprises me.
Yeah.
that
No,
Huh.
he real time ages and is
That's
one of the
nuts.
few characters in comics that real time ages.
That's nuts.
It is.
Also, sometime we should talk about the sliding timescale of comics because it's a
Yes,
whole thing.
that is a whole thing. Every
Since-
publishing house has a different one, and
yes, in the Marvel
it's-
universe, it's because Franklin Richards will not let heroes age. That's a whole thing. In the
Every
DC
16
universe, in the DC universe, they just keep blowing stuff up until people are young again. Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then Dark.
which was Constantine's second appearance.
Yes, technically. So there is a story from 1986/7 that was never fully written or published, and it's called Twilight of the Superheroes. And Alan Moore wrote this as basically the first crisis after Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like, he dreamed it as being the next big event after that. And again, this is in 86, 87, a year after Constantine had been around, and it was going to be a whole DC event from the perspective of John Constantine, written by Alan Moore. Because it's written by Alan Moore, it's really, really horribly rough and messed up, and just a bad time overall. But you can find the story proposal online, read it, it's excellent, but it was all from his perspective, and it has one of the best pieces of writing I've ever seen in my life in it. Look into it sometime. It's great. It will be a bad time reading it, but it's good. And Alan Moore
is crazy.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about how crazy he is.
This is
maybe
right
not
before
crazy.
Watchmen. Yeah.
So it is rumored. So occultists are real people, and they I mean, in Europe, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them here too.
There's a bunch.
They're all around. Here we kind of call them paranormal investigators to a degree, but little bit of a. But anyway, there was a famous occultist in London named Tom Slemen. I'm saying his last name wrong. I guarantee it. Slemen. And he's rumored to be the inspiration for Constantine.
Oh yeah.
But he thoroughly denied that he was not the.
From what I've seen, Alan Moore talked a lot about Algernon Blackwood. It's like a big inspiration for him. Yeah.
But apparently this Tom Slemen dude was like, some of his stories were the same stories that Constantine had. Yeah. Now, speaking of how crazy Alan Moore is and the crazy shit that comes out of his mouth,
God, he's great.
He claims to have met John Constantine in real life.
Of course he did.
Twice.
Of course he did. Maybe he did though.
He's actually now normally we just end it right there and be like, Alan Moore's a wacko, and he says that he met a character that he created. However, who are the big writers of the Constantine books that we were that you mentioned?
Well, Delano started out, Garth Ennis, Peter Milligan, Warren Ellis. I think Brian Azzarello did some too.
Yeah. Mind you, I like my yellow notepad. Chandler does not like my yellow notepad.
I think it's garbage. It needs to go away.
And I write like a psycho. So he literally can't tell with my notes. Says that Jamie Delano, Peter Milligan, and Brian Azzarello all claim to have met John Constantine in real life.
I don't believe one of those people. It's Brian.
Brian's a psycho, bro.
I hate Brian Azzarello. He wrote the most garbage Superman story that I've ever seen in my entire life. It was drawn by Jim Lee, who we all know is one of the best artists in the business. This is 2005 Jim Lee, so he was killing it. He was doing his best work. It's called Superman 4 Tomorrow. If you ever find a copy of it, burn it. Burn it with fire. I hate it so much. He wrote some good Constantine. He did.
But no, so normally I would just be like, okay, Alan Moore, you're batshit crazy. You can't meet things that you created. But then several other people have said they have. So maybe that the fake John Constantine. Now in occult, in the occult, there are several. Oh, by the way, hi, I'm Charles. I'm a part-time paranormal investigator and occultist and aspiring and training to be a demonologist as well. So
you're about 10 years away from being Alan Moore. I can see that.
No.
You need some more bags into your eyes.
Crazy beard. Anyway. So yeah, I'm crazy. But in a lot of these circles of the occult and things, there are beliefs that you can actually manifest fictional things to become real. Okay. So if we're playing with, and also you have the multiverse theory, the layering of. So
there might be another really,
there may be like, I hope not.
I really hope not either.
different dimensions and things. So, is there possibly a dimension where some of these characters are real? And if any of these characters could break through different dimensions, it would be John Constantine.
True. Yeah.
Now, with that being said, that's all crazy gibberish. But Geek Out does not endorse or believe in the anyway.
But Geek Out believes
that
And
everybody
Gerald.
can believe whatever they want to
Yeah.
believe, as long as you're not hurting other people.
Believe in Gerald. He's always watching.
Gerald, yeah,
Gerald's always watching.
Gerald's always watching.
Yeah. It's the god from the Flintstones.
Fair.
He's a pink elephant.
He's a pink elephant.
He's a vacuum cleaner.
He's a vacuum cleaner too.
Yeah.
That means he sucks like most deities.
Yes. Correct. Correct.
The opinions of this show do not directly reflect the
No.
the business that
Just
we
remember,
work for.
if you want to ask God a question, you can always ask your vacuum cleaner.
That's straight from a comic.
I stick to that.
We've talked extensively in the shop about Flintstones, but we haven't done a Flintstones episode.
I would love to talk about the Flintstones comic.
We will
It's
at
so
some point in
good.
the future talk about the Flintstones.
It's
and you know
so
what?
Good.
You're looking at us. Okay, the two people that are actually watching us, one of them being Chris. I know that we forced her to read Flintstones, but
I think the other one's Jess.
there's three. So okay. So if you're watching this later and you're looking at us and going, why the hell would I, as a grown-ass adult, read a Flintstones comic book? It's not what you think.
Well,
it
Fred
has
Barney
nothing
committed
to do.
genocide in the war, so you know it's you should read it. It's pretty good.
We'll discuss it on another night. We're almost
Totally.
done talking about John Constantine.
Yeah, he's
So-
a bad guy. He's a piece of shit.
So, John Constantine has graced the screens of our televisions and movie theaters.
A few times.
A few
But
times.
more than you'd think for being a niche character, honestly.
Really? Yeah. The first time was in 2005.
Yeah,
with
with
Keanu
Keanu
Reeves.
Reeves. He's not blonde or British, but that movie's actually pretty good.
Actually, it's not a
Pretty good.
terrible representation, but the
And
fact
it
that
does like specifically draw on several specific stories from Hellblazer. Like in
does.
particular, Garth Ennis's work
yeah,
of
it's very Ennis heavy.
Dangerous Habits. I think the story was called, where he gets cancer. It's actually a pretty good movie.
It is.
Yeah, pretty
It has the bug monster.
It does have the bug one. It's got what's her name? Not Tilda Swinton
Yep.
as Gabriel.
Gabriel.
And she does a great job. It's also got Peter Stormare as
Peter
the
Stormare
devil.
as the devil, which he's
He's
one of
fantastic.
the best. He's one of the best on-screen Satans
He's got all
that
that
we've ever
black
had.
goo just dripping off of him. He's barefoot and stuff. Like he's really
he does
really
an
good in that.
exceptional job.
Yeah, he's great.
Solid special effects. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
You got magic tattoos.
magic tattoos.
Shit goes
Dude,
hard.
It
Yeah.
is. It is-
Shotguns with holy water.
Exactly.
Great. That's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Shia LaBeouf's in it.
Shia LaBeouf.
He's-
Do it.
He's he's the ever famous ConstanTINE character Chaz.
Chaz,
Yeah,
yep.
Chaz is a recurring thing.
So like it's a quality movie.
Yeah.
As long as you can get over the fact that Constantine
blonde.
is not Sting,
He's not Sting.
or at least British. Or,
But he is a mega piece of shit in that movie.
He is.
Yeah, he's
However,
a horrible guy.
however,
Yeah.
it is Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
But let's just thank Keanu for not giving us the same shitty British accent that he gave us in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Honestly, I forgive everything in Bram Stoker's Dracula because that movie's awesome.
That movie is awesome.
It is awesome. Gary Oldman is the best man in the world in general, but also great Dracula.
He
love him.
is. So
He's
he
one
is
of the top 5 humans.
Like,
He's a top 5 human.
yeah, I'll give him that.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
I will give him easily top 5 actors of all time.
Oh hell yeah.
I mean,
Hell
if you
yeah.
look at his rank, I mean, Zorg from
Man's got it.
Fifth Element is the same
Where it
person.
shoots grenades too.
Is the same person as. I mean, he played 3 different versions of Dracula in that movie.
He did. He also
And
did
then-
with the professional, the meth head, the meth head DA agent.
And then he was also
Yeah, Sid-
James Gordon.
he was James Corden.
So-
He was Sid Vicious as well.
He was.
He's
So-
great as Sid Vicious.
Yeah. So Gary Oldman, can't say enough
He's
good things about
Commissioner
him.
Gordon. He's so good. Like I love his mustache. It's a great mustache.
He is a it's flickering again, man. So
Because the spookies are about.
the spookies are about. I mean, Old Town Burleson is haunted as fuck, bro.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Of course it is.
I'm
People. I'm not gonna talk about it.
yeah,
It's fine.
I mean, you can go right
It's
across
not
the
great.
street. There is a the city hall or the city.
Oh, the
Yep,
square.
yep. You can.
such.
There's literally a ghost tour that rolls through.
Really?
Here. Yep.
Nuts.
But anyway,
Just punch some ghosts.
punch some ghosts, bro.
Moon Knight does it. We can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You do need blessed brass knuckles, though.
Ah. Moon Knight just put on some skeletons and then beat him up.
Well, he's also Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Warren Ellis was right. And
So
it
yeah,
didn't have to
so
make sense.
2005, Keanu Reeves, great movie,
Really good movie.
terrible Constantine himself.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say he's terrible because he is accurate to the character.
He is accurate to the
but
character,
he's
but
just
he's
not
just-
blonde and British.
He's not blonde and British.
That's really
and
the
it's
only
really,
thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
give that to you.
Because he's still a horrible asshole.
But we
Yeah.
didn't. There was an after credit scene before after credit scenes were popular.
Yes, when the Shia LaBeouf a ghost.
He becomes an angel.
Shia LaBeouf ghost.
Shia LaBeouf angel.
Yeah, Chaz ghost.
Chaz Ghost. Chaz
Yeah.
Ghost Angel.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. So we got teased a sequel, and apparently we might get the sequel in the next couple of years because
Maybe.
Keanu and Warner Brothers are like, we still own the license to this. Let's go ahead and do it.
I just one the guy from the TV shows.
We're
and
getting
the
there,
animated
bro.
stuff, just take that guy and put him in some movies. He's really good.
Fair.
He's like exactly right. It's
So,
nuts.
Speaking of, his name is Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan. Yeah, no, he's great. I know
In
his name.
2014, we finally got a solo show for John Constantine, and you know what? It
actually
was
pretty
a
good.
really good show.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It,
It could have been rated R.
I mean,
maybe a
it was
little
on
bit.
NBC, I think. It was on NBC.
It
or
was on
CBS,
NBC,
yeah.
which is
So,
a
I mean,
weird choice.
It is a weird choice, but that was whenever everybody was buying up comic licensing whenever
Yes,
they could,
yes,
and they
yes.
canceled it. And then
After a season. I
after
think
a
13
season.
episodes?
Yeah, you got 13 episodes. It was a great show. I
It
really
was
enjoyed
really good, actually. Yeah.
Nice representation. You got more
Yeah.
comic stuff than you got.
They
from,
lifted like
yeah.
like the Hunger Demon story is literally
Yeah.
just pretty much exactly the same as in the comic. There was Dr. Fate and the Spectre were in that
Yeah.
show too. Like
yeah.
they did some good stuff. And that guy is just
Matt Ryan's
perfect.
perfect.
He's so good. He looks like Sting. He is British. He's a
Not to be
remarkable
confused with the
piece of
shitty
shit.
football player Matt Ryan. He used
True.
to play for the Atlanta Falcons, and
True.
Now I think he loses games for the Colts now.
He does.
He's a joke. He's a joke artist.
One thing about Keanu Reeves was that he was a horrible piece of shit, which is what Constantine is. But he wasn't super charming like Constantine is. Matt Ryan nails both sides of it, where he's a horrible guy, but you actually still like him despite knowing
Yeah.
you shouldn't like him.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
He's literally just perfect. He was born to play that role.
And then whenever a show got canceled, there was a whole bunch of attempts to revive it. There were a whole bunch of
Yes.
attempts. Fans were all signing
Fans went
petitions
nuts
and
over
everything.
it.
But at the same time, the Arrowverse was still going nice and strong.
Yes.
And hadn't turned to ridiculousness yet, or at
Yes.
least the bad kind of ridiculous. We can all agree that comics are ridiculous.
They're
But
so
there's
stupid, but
there's
they're great.
good ridiculousness and bad, and the Arrowverse
Yeah.
had not gotten to the bad part yet.
They were in the middle somewhere.
They were starting to trend towards the
Yeah.
ridiculousness, but I mean,
His episodes were pretty
his
good.
episodes were like
episodes are pretty good.
Oliver Queen needed some help, and
Yeah,
he
need a Magic Man.
needed a magic man.
He's a
and,
great Magic Man.
and he got
Sort
some
of.
John Constantine, and
They're pretty
we
good.
got a couple episodes in Arrow. I think he crossed over a little bit in Flash, and then he was a
I think he was in Flash
regular.
briefly. Yeah,
He was a
yeah.
regular recurring character in Legends
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Tomorrow. So
Yeah.
he had some really good stuff, and
Mhm.
he's gotten to do a whole bunch of Arrowverse stuff. And
He's a good character.
also Matt Ryan is in the best DC Universe show, Harley Quinn.
Is he?
Yeah, you get to see him in the Swamp Thing episode.
Really?
Yes, and it's still Matt Ryan.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yep.
Also, Swamp Thing is voiced by one of my favorite people. His name is Sam Richardson. He's a hilarious comedian / actor, and he just plays Swamp Thing as a giant hippie, and I really
it's
love
pretty
it.
good.
He's got a man bun. It's great.
He does.
Yeah. Thank you for opening your truth to me. He's so great in that.
So we also have there's Justice League Dark and a few other. There are a few
Yes.
pretty solid animated movies.
The Justice League Dark movie is pretty good. The sequel, Apocalypse War, is actually very, very good. Really, really good stuff.
A gentleman named Damian O'Hare voices Constantine in those. So
In the
in
Dark
the
movies?
yep.
Well, I thought it was Matt Ryan.
Nope. It's
Really?
not.
He
It's-
sounds just
it's
like him.
Damian O'Hare.
Huh. He sounds
So-
exactly like Matt Ryan.
So
nuts.
so yeah. So we've got
Nice.
so because we have to discuss every person that plays the character because that's what we
Yeah.
do here.
Best one's Matt Ryan. It's not even a question.
And
we don't
then
even have to talk about it.
we still have to mention it, even though it's not technically John Constantine, but Joanna Constantine. In
Oh, yeah.
2022, we got the excellent, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it now. Stop listening to me and him ramble and start episode 1 of The Sandman on Netflix.
It's pretty good.
It's not pretty good. It's not pretty good. It's fucking outstanding.
It's really good.
It's really, really good.
It's really good.
I
I never liked the Doll's House arc. I never really cared for it.
fair.
Not my thing. I'm like excited for the rest of it.
But so they had to gender swap the character of John Constantine, so
Rights
they made it
issues.
Johanna Constantine, and it's Jenna Coleman, and it's just rights issues. It's still the same character. It's written the same way.
She acts exactly the same.
She acts the same. She does a great job. Jenna
They
Coleman's a great
basically
actress.
did a new version of Newcastle, like that whole
Yeah.
how he got a little girl killed. They just did that as well.
Yeah, they
Same
gave
thing.
they gave him some solid stuff, and they are actually discussing the potential of having a Joanna Constantine spin-off.
Spin-off?
Yeah, at Netflix.
Just make a Constantine show again.
I mean, yeah, it'll just be
Pretty easy.
Constantine, just with Pretty Lady.
I mean, yeah, that's always good, but like, still, just do.
The cat
Just do what you
episode
did
was
8 years
weird.
ago.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just do the same thing.
Seems
but if you're on
reasonable.
Netflix, you can lean into the hard stuff.
Totally, yeah. But like, just they have HBO, Warner Brothers.
Yep.
Which is known for the hardest.
But
stuff
so
ever.
but so,
Just
so
do that.
So
What are you
here's
talking
the
about?
thing.
HBO? That's a stupid idea.
No.
Just do Constantine.
I mean, HBO Max could, but they would have to do John Constantine.
Yeah.
Or whereas Netflix has the rights to Johanna.
Yeah, no, I know.
Constantine.
Yeah, no.
So
I get what you're saying.
yeah,
but I'm
Chris,
just saying.
Chris, the cat episode was very weird.
Oh, the cat stuff's great.
It's great. I'm not going to defend that episode though. It's,
What do you mean? It's one of the best
great.
stories. It's really
beautiful.
good.
It's super
really good.
sweet.
It's really good.
That is the one episode though I don't think they got quite right
Really? Yeah.
because the end
They
of
did
the
the Calliope stuff pretty good. Yeah.
Oh,
because
yeah,
it was
no, that
still
was good.
really horrifying.
Yeah, it was really
It's
it was
so
great.
messed up that story. Yeah.
I think the Calliope could have been its own episode, but
It
I'm
could
not,
have been,
I'm
yeah,
not.
yeah.
I'm not mad. The cat at the end of the actual comic, and then also the audible version of it.
Audible
The-
version's so good.
It's so
It's
brilliant.
so good. Yeah.
You got more of the feeling that the kitten that learned from the elderly cat was really just motivated to go out there and seize the world, and
Yeah.
I don't feel that you really got that in the animated adaptation.
I took that more as that initial one was written in the late 80s when that was more the feeling then, and this one's written now where it's not. You know, like I took that as more just a modernized interpretation of that. I
And
guess.
there were some things that were modernized. I do like the fact that it was very ambiguous of the time frame. There were very
Yes.
few. I mean, like people had flip phones, but instead of giant bag phones like they would have had in the
Yeah.
'80s, but they didn't have smartphones. But there were some people with smartphones, so it was kind of like this
Yeah.
ambiguous. When is it? What is it? Kind of thing.
It's like if y'all ever watched the Legion TV show.
Yeah.
It's very ambiguous as to where that was set.
But yeah. So yeah. Constantine.
It's really good stuff.
It is really good stuff.
Read the original Hellblazer run. It's so good. You could not even a bad issue in the bunch, no matter
Nope.
who's writing it. It's really good. Really,
and
really good.
and with Constantine, there's no real bad adaptation of it, other than the fact that Keanu
yeah.
Reeves isn't blonde and British.
Exactly.
The movie's
It's still
good.
good. It's accurate to the character for the most part.
It is. The
and to
TV show
stories.
was solid.
The TV show was really,
His
really underrated. Yeah.
Her representation on the Netflix Sandman is really solid. So
Yeah.
we haven't got, and the Justice League Dark stuff.
The animated
is
ones are good.
really good representation.
DC's, like the comics had a rough patch, and like when it moved from Vertigo to the New 52, and then Rebirth for a little bit, had some rough times. Not gonna lie, but since after the Rebirth period, they did a new run by Cy Spurrier. It was only 12 issues because DC doesn't know when they publish good books, and they canceled it. They do that a lot because they're DC.
Chris, we do have some Hellblazer trades. I'm not entirely sure which ones we have.
I have the new ones that are really good, and I have some of the old Garth Ennis ones. But the new one by Cy Spurrier was a perfect homage to the old ones. Had a lot of the future Constantine stuff, which was mostly inspired by that Alan Moore story, The Twilight of the Superheroes, because that book was all about future and past John Constantine. And it was only 12 issues, and even though it was canceled, the writer wrapped it up perfectly. It told its own beautiful, unique story on its own. Also, super horrifying. Some really disturbing stuff in there, like angels who flay your skin off with their fingers. It's really, really good. The cover of the last issue is one of the best covers I've ever seen in comics. Check it out sometime. It's perfect. Basically, Constantine comics are back, and they're really good.
So,
Read the Cy Spurrier run.
That's. I think that's about all we have.
Or pretty much. Yeah.
But
there's not a lot of Hellblazer to cover.
Yep.
But what to
there's
cover
not.
is really good.
It's
actually.
really good. Yeah. So if you haven't watched or read ConstanTINE, do it because there's not much of it that's not great.
Yeah. All 300 issues of the original run.
Oh yeah.
Are
If you can
really
get all
good.
the original run.
Really
do
good.
it.
No matter who's writing it. The
Yep.
new run by Cy Spurrier, 12 issues again. Really great. It's exactly what you want from Hellblazer. It's great. It's charming. It's really fucked up, and it's got some really good horror stuff. It's got a joke you'd probably really like in it. Just he's at a bar, and a woman asks him why was Jesus so fit? And he says why, and he goes, because he was hung like this. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's a very British joke.
It's a very British joke.
Yeah.
So yeah. You got anything else for us, man?
Constantine's good. It's just good. Read it, and watch it. It's all good. It's just good. Yeah. I love John Constantine. He's great. He's a horrible guy, but he's great.
ConstanTINE.
It's Constantine, but it's fine. It's totally Constantine.
I literally am just saying ConstanTINE to make everybody just go like, meh. It's just me, or we've been a little sweary tonight.
I definitely have been.
Yeah.
But also, it's a Constantine episode.
It is a ConstanTINE episode, and it's been a long night and a long month, and tomorrow is a new month.
Yeah, it is a new month.
November, we got all sorts of crazy fun stuff going on. We're going to BGG Con.
That's right.
So board game convention. So we'll bring back some cool stuff from that, some cool information from that.
Yeah.
Maybe some cool new stuff as well.
The anime one?
That one's in December.
One's in December? Okay,
Yep.
I got you.
I mean, right after BGG Con, I mean, of course, you have Thanksgiving and Black Friday.
True.
So our Black Friday sales, me and Gerhard are already putting our brains together to make the best Black Friday sales possible for you comic nerds. And then right after Black Friday, the following week, we've got Anime Frontier, so big anime convention. So we might get some cool stuff back for the store from that because that's always fun. May grab a few things that we normally sell in the store, get them signed, and have some opportunities for people that don't get to go to Anime Frontier.
Yeah, cool.
Let's see. Yeah. So November's not going to be as insane as October was, and hopefully none of us will catch the vid because that knocks you out for a week, man.
Pretty much. Yeah, it does indeed.
So between the vid and the conventions, that was our October.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do for next week?
I don't know. What do you want to do for next week?
I have an idea.
What's your idea? Not Flintstones.
Not Flintstones. Flintstones
We'll
would
do
be
Flintstones.
so brief.
Flintstones.
Yeah.
We'll do that. We'll do like
we'll do it like a side bit, on an episode.
Yeah. Or we'll do like a Flintstones episode,
like
but
tackle
the
a bunch
Flintstones,
of like
a handful of like, like why the hell are you telling me to read this craziness?
Yeah, like sex criminals and stuff.
Yes, sex criminals is great.
I have an idea.
What's your
idea?
idea?
But it'd be mostly comic based.
Okay, what's your idea?
Because we got one movie and it's really bad. Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
I'd love to talk about Green Lantern and why he's actually good, and the movie's really not. It's really not okay. Like, whoever signed off on that. Well, I know who signed off on it. It was Jeff Johns and a few other people. And Jeff Johns, I want to punch you in the face. But keep working with Gary because he's like the best guy you've ever met. Gary Frank's awesome.
So you want to do Green Lantern?
I do want to do Green Lantern.
There are a bunch of animated films for Green Lantern.
They're actually quite
and
good.
There's actually a few TV shows that were really solid.
Yeah. And the Justice League shows did him really well.
Yep.
Also, we talk about Alan Moore again because Alan Moore made some of the most important Green Lantern stuff. Yeah,
he did.
In 2 short stories, he made some of the most important Green Lantern stuff.
So yeah, and I mean one of my favorite story arcs of all time is a Green Lantern story.
Oh yeah, Blackest Night, right? Yeah, we can talk about Blackest Night.
You can't beat zombie freaking hordes that are all superheroes. Also,
true, yeah. I got to talk about Earth 1 Green Lantern, which I think is mega underrated. Earth 1 Green Lantern is really good.
Earth 1 Green Lantern is really solid. So okay, so I guess we're talking about Green Lantern next week.
Yeah.
We will mostly focus on the greatest Green Lantern of all time. Guy Gardner. I mean, the squirrel.
Yes! Look at that bold cut. It's magnificent.
In the brief period of time where he wasn't a Green Lantern, but he was still part of the Justice League.
That was the International days.
Justice League International.
Yes.
We
can also talk
Doomsday
about...
beat the shit out of him. which was
like
hilarious.
100,000% beat the shit. That's also when, remember Bloodwind?
Yeah.
Why? Why was Bloodwind ever a thing? It's just Martian Manhunter in a disguise. He knew, like, he was pretending to be Bloodwind for no reason. Like, there wasn't a reason for him to be gone. He just pretended to be some other guy for like 5 years. It's bad writing.
Because bad writing indeed.
Also, there's a lot of DC events that kind of hinge on Green Lantern. I think, like 0 Hour. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a whole Green Lantern thing.
Yeah.
Parallax. Remember the rings?
Yep.
That famous cover. You know, where he's all smiley.
Yep.
It's a good one.
Yes. Green Lanterns are a lot. The Lantern Corps is a lot more important than people realize. And yes,
They're like mega important.
the best Green Lantern is the Squirrel.
Oh, Chip.
Chip.
Chip's great.
Chip's great.
I also really love Gnaut.
Yeah.
And who doesn't like Kilowog? If you
I was
like
about to
Green
say
Lantern,
Kilowog,
you
yeah,
like Kilowog.
Kilowog's legit.
Kilowog's
So
awesome. Yeah.
apparently, we're going to stop talking about Green Lantern now, so we can talk about it next week
Yeah.
without Mr. Bonehead.
We can talk about all the lanterns. I love the
Talk
red
about all.
ones.
Red Lanterns are great.
Yeah. They literally vomit blood and then make constructs out of that blood. That's rad as hell. That's awesome.
Star Sapphire.
Yeah. People who love way too much. Way too much. They're great.
They're stage 10 clingers.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So you're gonna die.
There's the blue ones who are just
blue ones are just
hippies.
hope.
They're just
the hope.
hippies. They got little staffs. Wait, no, that's
indigo.
Indigo's the
Indigo.
staff people. Yeah, they're hippies.
And then you've got the coolest of them all, freaking Captain Emo Pants Necron and his scythe.
And the loser Black Hand next to him.
Yeah,
because he's just a loser.
Yeah, he's just a loser. Yeah,
he kind of sucks.
That's how he gets corrupted. Is he's such a freaking loser.
He sucks. Everyone tells him he sucks too, and he's really depressed about it. It's actually kind of funny.
Well,
everyone tells him he sucks like all the time. It's great.
We will further discuss the linchpin of the entire DC universe, the Green Lanterns.
They're so important. We'll talk about all the different colors.
We will.
White, black, green, yellow, all that jazz. We'll talk about what they mean. I'll recite every single one of the oaths for you because I know most of them from heart. The green one makes me cry every time I hear it.
Really?
A little bit, yeah. It's really good.
In brightest day.
In blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Of those who worship evil's might, beware my power. Green Lantern's light! Ah!
Don't read Miracle Man. We'll see you tomorrow.
You should read Mr. Miracle though. It's really good. Yeah.
But
the guy who wrote Green Lantern wrote it.
That's amazing, Chris. Chris said they incorporated it in their vows. That's great.
Beautiful. That's really wonderful, actually.
But so I will be back with Miss Emery tomorrow.
What movie are you all talking about?
We are going to discuss, like I said earlier,
Halloween.
We're going to do.
That's right.
We're going to discuss all the timelines of Halloween, even the shitty ones.
They're very easy.
Because all of them are the shitty ones,
except for like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Halloween.
There's like 16 movies, and like
H2O.
3 of them are good.
And the first of the reboots.
The first of the reboots. Yeah.
Those are the
You know, the second of the reboot, I wasn't mad at until you got to that weird part.
I heard the end is the worst part.
The end is destroys what they were like. I
need to watch the new ones in general.
It
like
was
2 and 3 back
like
to back.
the second one was really solid until like the last 30 minutes of the movie just shit on everything because it was really and then this new one I can see why people hate it.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it.
Oh, I got you. So it was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah,
I didn't mind it. It's not. I mean, it's not Psychotic Cousin.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's
Or
got Danny
niece.
McBride behind it, so there's no way it's like wholly terrible. I mean, he's great.
But anyway, I will rant and scream about Halloween the day after Halloween with our friend Emery. So those of you that watch will get to meet Emery and her happy shiny face tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be great. She's great. She's really good.
Super high energy, lots of fun.
Yeah.
Less pessimistic than me and Captain. I can do it.
I got this.
He's got this. Yeah,
I do got this.
At least whenever we said that you're I got this man, it's better than calling you the I got this boy because you're the sidekick.
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah.
But also, Boy Wonder. Never been a better title.
Boy Wonder is
Robin
pretty
the Boy
great.
Wonder.
Robin is pretty great.
Did you see that Dan Mora cover?
Yeah, that's pretty great.
That's a really good
Yeah,
cover.
it is a really great
That's
cover.
fantastic. Dan Mora, if you're listening,
hey.
I love your stuff.
Hey, why don't you show the people that cover, because we didn't get to show it off because we were
were gone.
We were dead to the world
Yeah.
all month.
All right, this is an homage to the first appearance of Robin ever. There we go. Dan Mora, just simply the best artist in the business. This guy actually started, I don't know if you know about this, he started out as a fan artist on Twitter and Reddit.
Huh.
Yeah, and now he is literally the most in-demand artist in comics. And you can see why. He's very, very, very good. Yeah. Not nuts.
He's awesome.
He's great. He does the covers for Dark Knights of Steel. He does the best independent book, which is Once and Future, which just ended. And that book is the best. It goes so horror.
Great.
It's real good. If you like King Arthur, then you'll like zombie undead King Arthur trying to commit genocide on Germans. It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Good night, Chan Chan.
Good night, Weird Skeleton Man.
Good night, people who are barely paying attention to us.
I guess. Read
Chan-
Mr. Miracle.
Chan Chan will call you in 20 minutes, Jessica. Chris, we'll see you Wednesday? I don't know.
Probably tomorrow.
Probably more.
Be fine.
Anybody else who's still paying attention, we're sorry.
Hellblazer is a piece of shit.
Hellblazer is wonderful. He allows
Great
me to
books.
speak.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
Ah!
Read that Neil Gaiman issue. It's really good. Hellblazer 27. I know exactly which one it is.
Anything by Neil Gaiman you should read.
Yes.
Except
Don't say it.
Miracle Man.
Fuck off.